are conversations that are happening right now about roles that you would be a perfect fit for, and you are not in any of those conversations right now. Being overqualified or underqualified isn't the issue. You are underpositioned. That's the problem. The people having those conversations aren't finding you because your positioning signal isn't reaching them. I'm Christine Graves. I'm an executive career advisor and strategist, and I've spent over 25 years on this issue and similar issues, but more broadly in recruiting and human resources. And I've watched this happen to exceptional leaders over and over and over again, unfortunately. So today I'm going to show you exactly why it's happening and the 3 shifts that change it for you. So let's get right into it. And let me just go to my screen so I can shift here. Give me just a second. All right. Okay. When your positioning is backward facing, 4 things are happening quietly. You are attracting lateral roles, just overall to roles that aren't a great fit for you for that next step that you want. And the recruiter outreach arrives not at your level. So again, it could be below your level. That happens the most, I would say, but then it can just be off. So that recruiter outreach is off. And you are invisible to routine search. That's another quality too. So, and you're not perceived as succession ready. So this is what most leaders never see though. You don't know which rooms that you were never considered for. That's the problem. That's the real cost. It's not rejection, but it's exclusion. Because it doesn't matter all the other things that you do in all the things that you've been taught in the past to land your next role. You could be doing all of those things, but if you're excluded, you never had a chance. So you don't even get a chance to be rejected. So that's the real cost. It's exclusion versus rejection. So, and what makes it worse is most leaders do respond, as I was saying, doing the traditional things that you've been taught in the past of polishing, having the perfect resume, having the perfect LinkedIn profile, rewriting the resume, and again, optimizing the LinkedIn, and adding better metrics, things like that. But polish is surface. It's positioning that drives the economics. That's what you need to remember. You can have a professionally written resume, a polished LinkedIn profile, impressive logos, impressive brands that you work for, and strong metrics, and still have a quiet inbox because the market doesn't reward historical accuracy. So think of it this way, the perfect resume is perfect at historical accuracy, right? And that's great. Resumes should have that. But there's so much more that's needed in today's market. There's a lot more needed in today's market. So it's huge. And, if you don't want to have a quiet inbox, more is needed. So it's all about your perceived future value. That's the thing that's key. So this is what's happening. This is the issue. There's a gap between how you were or who you were hired to be and the leader that you are ready to become. Your headline sits at that intersection, even if those are misaligned. Well, especially if those are misaligned, traction slows. So that's the problem. That's the issue. And most executive leaders evolve internally long before their positioning, their external positioning reflects it. So when there is that misalignment, again, the traction slows. So your strategic thinking expands, your scope deepens, your mandate increases. Again, these are all the ways that you've evolved internally. but your headline is still stuck in the past. It still summarizes who you were, when you were hired a year ago, 2 years ago, right? And again, the gap between the two, that creates friction, which then delays the opportunities finding you, the right opportunities finding you. So that's the problem. That's the key. So here is the clarity matrix. This is a diagnostic that I developed to visually explain what's going on here. I'm a visual person, and I think many of you are like me. So that's why I put this together. So I want you to take a minute now to self-diagnose where you sit right now with your positioning signal. Okay, so look at this, and I will walk you through this too so you can see it. This clarity matrix, it measures two things. So you'll see that your depth of experience is on the vertical axis. And then the strength of your market signal is on the horizontal axis. And there's 4 quadrants. So the bottom left quadrant is low experience and low signal. That's for someone early in their career. Obviously, that's not where most of you are, or any of you are, I would say. Bottom right is low experience, high signal. So this is someone who is visible but not yet seasoned in their career. Also not where you are. Now, top left of the whole matrix is when you're high experience and you have a low positioning signal. This is the credible quadrant. Okay, so this is where most of you are sitting right now. You have earned your seat. It's just that the market doesn't know it yet. So, and then when we move over one more quadrant to the right, the top right, that is high experience, high signal. This is the inevitable quadrant. This is where the inbound shifts, where confidential conversations begin, where your next role starts finding you instead of the other way around. Instead of you having to chase down opportunities, chase down leads, this is where you want to be. This is where opportunities come seeking you. The goal of everything that we're doing today in this executive briefing is to move you from credible to inevitable. And 3 things have to shift in order to make that move. All right, so shift 1. Your headline has to stop summarizing your title and start signaling where you are going next, not where you have been. We don't want buzzwords or inflation. I'm not talking about that at all, right? We are looking for your economic value. What is the economic value that you provide? That's what you need to start communicating. So that's key. When your positioning signal reflects where you are operating next, how you are moving forward, think of it as present and future facing, your categorization, it's so hard for me to say, your categorization changes immediately. It's huge. Okay, shift 2. Your language has to move from task description to mandate ownership. Again, I'm going to say this. This is so key. Your language has to move from task description to mandate ownership. Think of it this way. Candidates describe responsibilities. Peers signal authority. You're not writing a job description, so don't treat your positioning that way. Don't treat your LinkedIn profile that way. You need to communicate what you have owned. Again, going back to the economic value that I provided, but what have you owned in terms of growth, in terms of transformation, in terms of strategy? When your profile reflects that ownership, you've evaluated, or you are evaluated differently. So you really, again, you need to reflect that ownership. Shift 3. For those of you who are currently employed, I think there's many of you out there that are, and want to find your next role without looking like you are looking, you need to build traction without exposure. That's key. So no daily posting or public searching. There needs to be discrete alignment between your profile, your connection strategy, and your positioning signal. So all three of those need to be aligned. Again, your profile, your connection strategy, and your positioning signal. When those three are aligned, leverage builds quietly. Your next role finds you before urgency forces your hand. And that's why we're here, right? We don't want urgency to force your hand. We want you to be strategic and, again, easily have that next role find you. So let me tell you what this looks like in practice. I worked with an executive recently who had been stuck at the senior director level for years. And it just didn't make any sense. She had strong results. She had real organizational impact. The market wasn't reading any of it, though, at the right level. And what we did, though, don't think of it, we did not polish her profile. We rebuilt her positioning signal from the diagnosis up. So within weeks, her LinkedIn profile views started climbing without her posting more content. The people connecting with her were at higher levels than before, and she was promoted from within easily. She wasn't suddenly discovered. She was finally being interpreted correctly. So again, here's my slide on that. Again, she wasn't discovered. It wasn't like, oh, there she is. Again, what we did is we rebuilt her positioning signal from the diagnosis up. So if you recognize yourself in that credible quadrant, so I'm going to go back to that. So again, if you are in that upper left-hand quadrant of credible, if you know your experience isn't the issue, and you suspect that your signal may be costing you opportunities that you never ever see, I can help. I can absolutely help you. So for limited time, because time moves quickly, it seems to pick up speed every day, I am offering 5 complimentary strategy calls this in the coming week to first degree connections who book now. And what that is, it's a 60-minute session where we're going to identify exactly where you sit in the clarity matrix, okay? How your current headline is categorizing you and whether your signal is expanding or narrowing your options. So again, we will be looking at that. If you grab one of those 5, they do go very quickly. So we will be dropping the link in the chat so you can, grab that if that's something, but I would encourage you to get that booked as soon as you can. And just to take advantage of that, because you get my one-on-one attention on your profile and on your situation. Where are you at? Because that's an important thing to keep in mind. So again, we'll be focused on the clarity matrix. So we'll look at that. And as I was saying, you want to find out where you sit in that matrix. And again, how your headline is categorizing you And you need to know, you need to be aware if your positioning signal is working for you or against you. Because if it's working against you in any way, you want to get that fixed as soon as possible. So, especially in today's job market, the cost of mispositioning really compounds quietly. It can be just by you missing out on one opportunity alone. That could be very costly. If you just look at the compensation, what if it's over a 10% salary increase for you? And I'm being conservative. But you think about that and then you compound that over future years, that can be a very, very costly mistake. And that's just from missing out on one role. What if you've missed out on more because of not having a positioning signal that attracts the opportunities that you're interested in? So leverage is built long before you need it. We need to keep that in mind. And if your next role should find you, your positioning signal has to recognize you first. It has to represent you first. It has to attract that next opportunity for you. It really does. So again, one last time. Again, look at this clarity matrix and think about, okay, where, based on the inbound that I'm getting, the conversations that I'm getting, everything that's going on right now, are opportunities really finding me? And even just on that one question alone, you can tell which one of these quadrants you're in. Where are you placing? So again, I really think most of you are placing in that upper left-hand quadrant of credible. Most of you are there. And where you really need to be is you need to move over to the right to the inevitable quadrant. That's with the experience level that you have and with the signal that is really attracting those opportunities that you're looking for. So again, take advantage of the strategy call. Again, I'm only offering 5 because I only have so much bandwidth, but you can definitely grab one of those while they last. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you if you take advantage of that. And yeah, and that way you can stop missing out and you can get in the room and get considered for the opportunities that are trying to find you, that really would like to find you. So anyway, thanks again for your attention. And I hope you have a great weekend. Bye now.